Howdy, it is I, Junk, and I thought I would talk a bit about one of the builds in this hangar, and then we can take it out for a swing. I tried to record this before, and then found out you couldn't hear me over the game music, so I'm not the music, the game sounds. So I turned the game sounds off now, which means I will definitely be snuck up on by a scorpion because I won't hear the sonics. But it was good because it gave me a chance to try the earlier iteration of this build, and I'm trying something different now because this is not going to be the easiest robot to use. Uh, so let's take a look at it. And this was one of the robots I had back in the day when when it came out anyway, because I was playing since launch. But when they added the Carnage, I got it, and it was one of the robots where I would look at my hangar and say, one of these days I'm going to have all these robots maxed. And I finally maxed the robot just before the Mark III tokens came out. I Mark III'd a bunch of robots. And, speaking of Mark III tokens, I guess, since we're on the topic, here's the leaderboard, and remember when they introduced the token, said, well, it's for the most dedicated players and should be a thing of prestige. And we were like, uh-huh. And the Pixonic simps on Reddit were like, oh, but this is great because leaderboards are skill-based. Well, you could get this one by, let's see, free-for-all battles or black market crates. Well, I didn't play any free-for-all battles. Have you seen me upload any free-for-all battles? I didn't upload any free-for-all battles. So I bought my way to the top of this leaderboard. And let's review. That means you buy your way to the top of the leaderboard, you buy the operation, and you buy them in the store. Buy, buy, buy. What a shock. The Mark III token is just another pay-to-win thing to reward people who are willing to spend the most. Who knew? Who, other than everyone who has played this game ever, could have anticipated that would happen? I don't like the Mark III tokens. It's just taking something away from us to sell it back to us. It's ridiculous. It's anti-consumer. It makes life even harder for free-to-play, and it offers nothing to the people who are paying anyway. Because, as you've seen, the people who are paying anyway, like me, we're going to get them. So, it's just, it's anti-consumer, it's anti-F2P, and I don't like it. Anyhow, among the decisions they've made, that's one we can chalk up to bad. But as I was saying, let's get back to the Carnage here. This morning, I wake up, I've got a Mark III Carnage and nothing else. So, what do I do? The first thing I decide is, what do I want to run as a weapon? And that's going to dictate the playstyle quite a bit. If I decided I was going to put 2 Prismas on this, I know that I'm going to want, like, the Basal Pilot, and I know that my concerns, I'm going to be concerned with mobility so I can get away from people coming after me, but I'm not necessarily going to be concerned with, like, burst mobility, let's say. Because I can walk backwards slowly if they're coming towards me. But, like, I know that, okay, I can forego some durability skills because if I'm building with Prisma, I'm trying to avoid those situations. If I'm in a situation with a Prisma where I need a tanky robot, I've already lost. So, deciding hammer first of all, tells me which pilot I want, and it gives me a sense of what this playstyle is going to be. I'm going to have to get fairly close, so I'm going to need speed, but I'm not going to be... I mean, it's a Carnage. There's a limit to how much durability you can give it, especially because it doesn't have 3 module slots. It has one passive slot. So I have a sense of what kind of skills I need, and pilot. I've got the magic keyword, so I can use this trackpad as like a pointer. Ooh. Let's look at Eddie's power here. Ride the Wave. Increases the fire rate of all equipped weapons with shotgun-like mechanics. If you've been on the forums, you know this, but if you don't know, the only fixed reload weapon with shotgun-like mechanics is the hammer, mace, and cudgel, so the hammer class weapons. So the only heavy one would be the hammer. And why does it matter whether it's fixed or continuous? Well, only a fixed reload shotgun is going to get higher overall DPS by increasing the fire rate. So imagine a hypothetical shotgun. Let's call it Weapon X. Weapon X has a 4-second... It takes 4 seconds to empty your clip and has an 8-second continuous reload. You'll shoot those shots faster, so the reload time of this weapon, Weapon X, is 8 seconds. That's not going to change because you fire it faster. It means instead of having 4 seconds of shooting and 4 seconds of dead time, you're going to have 3 seconds of shooting and 5 seconds of dead time. There's situations where that would be useful, but it won't increase your DPS. Like, it would be useful if you're firing at somebody else who doesn't have the pilot with the same weapons. You'll do your damage first, right? But your overall damage is going to be equal. Every 8 seconds is going to even out. But a fixed reload weapon that doesn't start reloading until the clip is empty actually gets faster damage overall, because if you take the same numbers, 8-second reload, 4-second emptying on a fixed reload weapon, that means your total cycle time is going to be 12 seconds. If you can shave a second off of that, and your cycle time becomes 11 seconds, your damage per second will go up because you removed a dead second. So Eddie Knoll is great with hammer, cudgel, mace. It really doesn't offer you a ton with other weapons. I mean, you'll shoot slightly faster, but your overall DPS won't change. So you're much better off, at least in my opinion, going for Adrian in a situation like that. So that's the first thing. Second thing, the Ghost ability. You know, you saw Ghost if you saw the Galahad things I did around Halloween, where you give up your active ability and you get a speed boost. Galahad's active ability was pretty close to useless. He moves his shield from the side to the front and gets 30% slower. So these days with homing bullets, a shield on the side is probably more useful most of the time anyway. Plus, you know, we all know how Hellburner. We've had practice turning sideways and running. We'll be fine. And yet, with Carnage, the Ghost ability is an even better deal. So let's take a look at Ghost here. Carnage's speed increases, but its active ability becomes unavailable. 68.75% speed increase. Well, let's look at what that active ability is that we're giving up. Ability, Rush. Carnage movement speed is temporarily increased, 66%, allowing it to break enemy lines and force enemies into close combat, which is consistent with how we want to play it. Active 10 seconds, cooldown 20 seconds. Okay, so you're telling me that my options are a 66% speed increase that's available half the time, or a 68.75% speed increase that's available all the time. I'm not a mathematician, but I'm thinking you should get the Ghost ability. The only situation where you wouldn't want to do it is if you wanted to run like Wonder Worker and then, I don't know, like Engine Expert or something that's going to give you a boost when your active ability is running. I mean, if you're making novel situational builds for Carnage, okay, but I would say most people are going to do better with Ghost. None of the other stuff should be too shocking. Roadhog for speed, Armor Expert for durability, Sharpshooter. This is, you know, something you may already know too, but if you have any weapon that has one weapon size, like it's all heavies, it's all lights, like it's a Khepri, it's a Seraph, Behemoth, Ravana, right? All mediums. And you're going to put a shotgun on it. And there's a shot grouping ability. In basically every situation, you want the shot grouping ability. If you have to drop Gunsmith or Master Gunsmith to make room for Sharpshooter, I think it's a good trade-off. That additional 50-ish yards of effective range you're going to get is going to make the difference in a lot of fights, particularly ones where you've got fast robots zipping around you or zipping in and out. I'm talking about Khepris, Mars, actually Ravana's too, now that I'm thinking about Ravana's. Anglers in some situations. That additional, being able to hit them effectively from a slightly further distance is going to make those fights much, much, much easier. Far preferable to the 5% of Master Gunsmith. So, increased shot grouping, always a good option. The only ability here that is kind of like, is Mechanic. Where, you know, there's arguments for a lot of other things here. In fact, I may come back and change it to Dodger. When I originally built this out, I was going to be using I was going to be using Shield Breaker, so I thought a little bit of healing would be useful. But now that I'm using an advanced repair unit, I'm rethinking. I'm thinking maybe actually I should switch out Mechanic for Dodger. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. Well, 12.5. I'll have to do the math on it. I guess I'll leave it for now, but that might change. Well, here's the thing. In terms of repair, I think it's not, maybe not a big difference, but faster uptime on the drone, on the repair chips might make a big difference. So let's just change that out. See if that doesn't make life a little bit easier. Yeah, as I was saying, but Mechanic was like, whatever. So let's see about Dodger. Everything else, I think, is in the right place. And modules, yeah, I tried the Shield Breaker and Balanced Unit. 152,000 health is not a lot, and the extra damage would have been appreciated. But there's anti-control chips don't anti-control chips on drones, like the control resist chip. I can't tell if it doesn't do anything, or it does so little that you can't tell. And I knew that because I use them with the Revenant, and lots of times I'll drop the Revenant, and if there's Fainter shooting at me, I'll be frozen before I hit the ground. And that's with a Nebula with a control resist chip, a gold control resist chip. So we're going to try this other build. The shields will be annoying, but the survivability might be better. Plus, it allows me to use the beak. I couldn't use the beak when I wanted control resist, because that takes an A slot, and because 2 B's, a C, and an F. But since we're using the advanced repair unit, this is, the most obvious thing setup here. 1 defense, 2 damage, and an absorber. And on first hit, stealth might give a little extra survivability. Alright, let's get into a game and see how this goes. Last time I tried this, I hit hackers, and I hit the worst maps, and just teammates dropping. It was brutal. It was like a brutal 6 attempts. The map I would least like to get is Power Plant, because I hate Power Plant. And then second least was Canyon. You think it's tough to run a Carnage. Try running a Carnage when everyone can see you're in a Carnage from across the map. There's just nowhere to run or hide in that case. In those 6 games, I managed to get no kills, other than, my own death, if we're counting that. There's a couple times where I thought I could have gotten it, but, a teammate got it, and what are you going to do? Ask people to stop shooting so that you can get it? I'm not running an armadillo on this, so it's not like it really cost me anything but pride. Okay, Dreadnought might work. I'm still going to drop Revenant first. I think the Carnage is just not what you want to contest a beacon in. So you want the map to be a little bit set before you try to make Carnage happen. Let's see. I added that skill to the Revenant here. I got rid of, I think I had Mechanic on it or something. I got rid of it, and I added this skill that gives increased defense points while the ability is active. So it's even somewhat tankier now. And this guy seems to have everything under control. But I suppose a little help wouldn't hurt. I think this guy might be feeling some kind of way about his robot dying. I hope he likes it better when this one dies. Let's see. That Strider is just... really tanky. You know, so, people have been posting, and I know Predator made a video about how Strider got a speed buff of some kind. I guess maybe the pilot, but I don't think it's gonna help it here. Oh, he ditched. See, that I think is a little lame. Ditching when you're on a beacon makes sense, because that 2 seconds you can save, that second and a half you can save, while the beacon is still your color. If you die and drop, there's a much greater chance of them being able to cap it. I mean, they're going to turn it either way. But if you ditch while you're standing on it, you might be able to get back on it before they can cap it. But when you just ditch and you're in the middle of nowhere, that's just you just can't emotionally handle losing your robot game. Well, the good news is, at least it seems like our teammates have this game pretty well in hand. Of course, the bad news is that means I'm going to face a decision where I'm going to have to ditch a Revenant, like a healthy bot, to get into a Carnage. And then if we lose, I'm not going to feel great about that choice. I don't know what this guy thought he was doing. Oh, he took our... Well, I was going to say he took our home, but I think we started on the other side, didn't we? So I guess we're here to take his home. Let's see. I recognize some of these player names, and some of those reds are very strong, and I think a couple of these greens are pretty strong. Or greens, blues. I'm not a professional talker. I don't talk so good. Well, this is a non-ideal situation. Did I mention I hate the Angler? It's like a bot designed by someone who just hated war robots and playing it. It's like, what is the basic mechanical thing that makes war robots fun? Is it shooting robots? Because we're going to make one you can't shoot at. Is that cool? No, it's actually not cool. It's terrible. Your game is stupid now. At least we have some support over here. Alright. If this is what we're doing now, then this is what we're doing now. Not really what I'd like to be doing, but let's just clear out these interlopers. We can get back to our regularly scheduled action. I'm not even sure what that was intended to do. See, the problem is, once you've got my attention, once you've got the Mars' attention, now what? Like, it ain't your meta anymore, man. It ain't your meta anymore. Oof, that was just not well played on his part there. I've been there, though. I feel his pain. It wouldn't be the first time I dropped a Titan to see it get blown up by the guy I was trying to blow up. Alright. Really? You think I care about this Angler? Really? They can have that. I'll just take the center. I'm going to have to start thinking about putting a Titan anti-control on this thing, and I don't really want to do that, but it does tend to get stopped a lot. Like it's got a busted tail light or something. Well, I'm going to have to ditch this if I want to get any Carnage action in at all, so... Oh, I kind of don't want to get into that fight, though. Well, that's the fight we got, so that's the fight we're going to get into. Yeah, that's what I thought. Getting shot as soon as I dropped. This guy's looking at me thinking, like, this is just disrespectful now. It is. I'm just being disrespectful. Hey, Carnage even got a kill like a real grown-up robot and a Capri Link. Oh, Carnage MVP. Carnage definitely topping the leaderboard today. I mean, as you can see, this is not a zippy robot. This is with the ghost skill. And it's running like, it's not slow exactly, but it ain't fast. So I'm going to drop in and shoot at me? Really? Nothing? Okay. Carnage was too powerful for them. They were terrified by the Cobra on it. They were like, oh, that's a real snake or something. Because I don't have any other explanation for why you wouldn't, like, stop a Carnage from taking your home. Yeah, go back at your home. Game's almost over. I'm just going to try to get some shots in on this tier. I think it's a tier. Looks like a tier. Yeah, it's a tier. Ancient tier. Oh. Well, that's gone better than average. I mean, let's look at the upside here. We actually got a kill, technically. You can't... That still counts. Technically still counts as a kill. 6.2 million, 6 beacons, 6 kills. You know, it's not going to get me in the Hall of Fame, but I don't think they're going to kick me out of the guild too soon. The clan too soon, sorry. Cool, so that is the first actual kill in a Champion League game with a Carnage for me. You know, I saw Predator's video too where he got a bunch of kill streaks, but that video came out during a reset week. And during a reset week, you know, you're playing against experts and diamonds and masters while everyone gets sorted. So you can get away with a lot there, and this is not a reset week. I feel very lucky. Shout out to my teammates who made that all possible. Cool, so if you hate this, I'm sorry. If you like it, maybe I can do some more. And if you're a dog or a cat, you're a very good dog or kitty, and I'm sure that your owners are going to give you a good mush when they come home.